Hello everybody, welcome back to our little Chia project, and today we will have a look into how to change the log files. The level of the log files, not to change them, to change the level so that we can have a look at how our response times are. Because that obviously seems to be a problem, because a lot of people are complaining that they miss out on Chia coins, and I myself experienced a lot of delays in the response time and sudden changes, and yeah, you see here is a reply from somebody who obviously knows something about the matter. Please note that looking up qualities for plots passing the filter requires about 7 random reads in a plot, whereas actually looking up a proof requires 64 reads. It might not be feasible on a slow NAS, since these are sequential reads. Furthermore, you need to take into account network latency to propagate your proof and block to the network, so you should be under 5 seconds to reduce risk of losing rewards. Also, another thing to point out is that the responses are returned to the full node as they come out from the drives. So the high time is probably only affecting the slow drive or the slow NAS. Yeah, but there's another thing which slows you down a lot. That is if you have shared drives on different machines. So if Windows mounts remote disks, then this also drives your response times down, which we will find out in a few seconds. So there are I picked just two of them randomly, and you can see that is an ongoing feature in the community, Reddit and GitHub. And also you will find out that most of the errors you will come across are not very new. Most of them stem from at least 4 to 5 weeks ago. And what makes it a little bit unpleasant is the fact that there's no actually signposting on the official Chia sites to prevent people from running machines which are basically ineligible to farm any rewards. So have a good look into your log file. Yeah, I'm sorry, I have a bit of a problem with the flow of words, because English isn't my native language, so there's always a lot of translating going on in my head, which means that the words don't get out that far. But on the other hand, thinking before speaking isn't always a bad thing. So one other thing I would like to show you is that uh, not only the cryptocurrencies have been hit by a slump in prices, also the gold price has been hit. And I will give you a hint why this is the case. During the pandemic, there wasn't much you could invest in to make some extra profits, so people went to the casino and betted on cryptocurrencies. But now, with the recovery gaining traction, we will we have other opportunities, and you can see what is happening is it's not only Brexit for us here in Britain, but it's also, where is it? There was a hint that we might have to look at double-digit inflation numbers. Anyway, so yeah, that is yeah. My members are experiencing price rise of 10 to 15% across the board, rising to 50% on timber and 30% on cement. And that is exactly what is happening. All those people who cashed out in the casino are now going to across the road to the next one and are betting on future contracts. So in a global recovery, the people, the rich, are betting on future price rises, which is a pretty safe bet. And if you can spend 50 million pounds on a cement future, you're probably not losing out at the moment. And the same goes for every other supply, which is basic. So commodity prices will go up, and not because of actual shortages, no, it will be just because of speculation. Because the production and the demand is pretty stable, it is pretty leveled. But if you create a shortage, then you are, of course, on the safe side, because in times of a recovery, there is, of course, some extra demand and you can make some extra profits. Yeah, so that is another hint why the Bitcoin market might have a bit of a problem with its recovery. So let's see, we are at 11.473, that means 11 exabyte, 473 petabyte, unknown numbers of 999 terabytes. And basically we are back to our usual growth of about 10+% per day. So we're looking at 11.8 tonight, which is in about 6 hours, 7 hours. And if you have a look at the fluctuation, you will see that we have huge, there it is. We have huge fluctuations, which is an indication that we have huge farms with 40 or more petabytes going on and off the net space at the moment. So people are testing their farms, as I said yesterday. Before you commit your investment to such a project, you will have figured everything out, and they have probably done that over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And that's why you see sudden spikes and hikes and drops in network space of about 40, 50 petabytes. They just come on and off the net during the testing phase. Sorry. Yeah, so let's have a look at the things we want to do. So first of all, where do you find your log file? So sorry for all the Unix guys out there, but I am sure you can translate the Windows coordinates into Unix. So basically what you have to do is use the home directory as the starting point, and then you have the same as here as in Windows. So we will start at our PC. Whoop. No, we are not. Yep, here we are. And then you go to your main disk where your operating system is on. Then you go onto the users tab. You choose your username, and then you will find a .chia folder. If you do not, then you have to enable oops, where is it? No, it's not here. You see, I'm not a Windows person. I think it's on view. Yeah, it is on view. And we need to hidden items. We need to check hidden items. So that is what you have to. So you go on your file manager, you go on view, and then you check the box hidden items, and then you will see Chia. And there we go onto mainnet, and there we go onto log. And here we find a file which is called debug log, and that is where you find all the information about what is going on in your machine. So I will close the one which I had already opened, and then we will open it again, and you can see I have warnings, I have errors, and I also have, we will go through the errors later. I will make one video just about the error messages. And usually what you usually do is you just, if you're not sure what it means, you just take the whole thing, the error message, and you just the error message. You copy it and you use our friendly search machine and you will find it in here. If you're not finding it, like we are having trouble with fighting bug in the harvester, then your only choice is to go to the developer's webpage and find out where you can raise a bug. But I mean, you can see here, if you go to GitHub and copy and paste your error message on the in a new issue, then you will probably find somebody who responds. Good, so that was a short diversion. So now we're back to our log levels. So we have errors, and here we have what is interesting us. So there's another thing which is info, and that is here you find your the secret information, and that is in my size, in my case. Yeah, you can see size doesn't matter. In my case, that is the main plot directory on D, which is a local directory, and it loaded a total of 4 plots, and it took it 39 hundredths of a second. So that is below half a second, and it took 200ths of a second to do so. So the whole response time is 0.41, let's say 0.42 seconds. Unfortunately, yeah, so I'm not too bad. And the whole time for the whole proof was 0.02597 seconds. So that is what you're looking for, but you won't find it because your log is probably not set to info level. So what you need, so you see I have a freaking lot of error mistakes and of error messages, and unfortunately a lot of those error messages add up to the response time as well. So my usual response time was pretty low, but the more complex the network we were building became, the more we saw a spike in error levels. That's why we made a complete overhaul in our network topology planning. So we will do it as simple as we can without breaking the bank for electricity bills. So we will see that we can use the cheapest options available to us to actually store the disks without running 700 watt or 1000 watt uh, power supplies. And also what you have to keep in mind is you have to, or you, the best bet you have is to try to keep it all on one type of format. So do not try to mix Samba and NFS and everything uh, everything on the market in one network. Keep it simple and try not to mount too many machines. Try not to mount too many file systems. The more file systems you have, the more different file systems you use, the more likely you will be running into delays, or you will render your chances of winning a block almost impossible. So yeah, I'm happy talking. Good. So what we need to find out is how can we change our level 2 info. So that is pretty easy. We do go to our original operating system disk, find our users directory, use our main user, go to our Chia directory, go to mainnet, and there we find another one, which is another directory, which is called config. And there we find a file which is called config YAML. We click on that one. And we use Notepad in this instance to open it. And when we open it, we will find alerts where what kind of SSL keys, your daemon port, which you can choose, but usually I would advise to leave it. You leave it as it is. You see I've put the local host in there. And the next is logging. And here you can set your log level. You just replace the default, which is warning, and you put it into info. And you have to write info in capital letters, and you have to leave one space between the colon and the info. And then we go on to file. We save the whole thing. Yes. And now you should have your log level set to info. And now you can spend the next 2 days with finding out what that actually means. What everything in your log means. So we can do it live if you want to. I have another machine which hasn't been, because that's the one which is going to die anyway. So we have not done it on this one. This poor fellow will be transferred to Windows to Unix anyway, so no point in doing it, but I can just do it for the sake of Oh no. Chia mainnet config, and here it is set to good. And there you can see that's the original log level, which is warning. And now we take it to info. We save the file and we close it. And now we have a look into our log file. You can see my original log file is 2 kilobyte. That is warning and errors only. I'm not going into those errors at the moment. But that is your homework for the next 2 days, to find out what those cryptic messages mean. So now to make it work, the different log level, we have to restart our machine. Which is a bit of a problem for all you with 80, 90, 100 blocks out there. Sorry, but I need, because now you will experience some downtime. Good, everything done. Let's start our machine again. Let's log in. It's syncing. I logged out overnight, and now you can so let's connect to our favorite peer to make it all, to speed it all up a little bit. And come on. Oh, that should speed the process of the syncing up a little bit. We kick you out. So that we reach the first spot. And let's see how long it takes for them to get in touch with each other. Might take a while. Yeah, oh, yep, here we are. So that should speed up our syncing process a little bit. But I told you, here we can have a look at that one. I've been told that you can also just put the full, a file of another full node onto a USB stick if you are really setting up a machine from scratch. You will find that file here. And here you find your blockchain file. So that is obviously Now that's the wallet, and that hasn't been updated. So you see, we are not thinking yet. Now we are starting. That is your heap number. So you probably can take the whole directory, put it onto a USB stick and copy it onto your other machines database directory. I'm not sure if it works. I've been told it does, but I haven't tried it. If it works, that's fine. Let me know in the comments or send us an email. And if not, don't blame me, blame it on the weather. So you try it on your own risk. I don't know if it works. I haven't tried it. So let's see where we are. 159 out of 759. Now that shouldn't take too long. And then we have a look in the... I'm pretty sure there's already something in it, but I just want to wait until it is fully synced so that we can see what is going on. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we did nothing but spend time to think about network topology and how we will plan our storage. And it is, I mean, we're talking about 200 to 400 terabytes over the course of the next 2 years. So that is about, let's say, 200 terabyte, and that's what we will end up in a year's time. And that is 10, 20 terabyte disks. That is one disk enclosure, or two mini servers, or one PC with a lot of riser cards and a lot of serial ATA controllers in them, or a lot of USB drives. You see, the possibilities are endless, and that is exactly the problem. It looks like they are endless, but if you plan on response time, then they aren't actually. So the obvious choice of action is a disk enclosure, because you can connect it directly to the controller, and that is exactly what all the whales are doing. What I have seen, the sensible ones. So they work with stackable and rackable disk enclosures, which means you have basically all your disks connected to the same controller, and you can just stack those disk enclosures up, connect them to each other, and you have a perfectly organized disk array. But there is a setback in that as well. There is a problem with Chia and the main directory size. So you can't have infinite plots in directories. The response time goes down with the number of plots. So you have to organize your machines and your directory structure. And the other thing is electricity costs. I mean, each enclosure comes with at least 400, usually with 800 watts of power supply. So if you take a 24 disk enclosure, that will have two 800-watt power supplies. And the main problem is if you put all your eggs in one basket, not a single drive will fail, but all of them. So that's what you also have to keep in mind. Yeah, so we are looking at using 12 volt mini servers to store the disks, 4 at a time. So that means we will have clusters of round about 100 terabytes. And as we are not planning to go about the 4 to 500 terabyte anyway, not at the moment, we will be pretty much on the safe side. And you also need to keep in mind that you have to plan for the copying, and the copying of files of the plot files is the actual problem. That needs to be organized very well. Okay, so that is not going to, I will be running out of narrative. No, it's 200 to go. It's 32 a time. So that means we have eight cycles to survive. I have to keep you entertained for 8 cycles, which is a difficult thing. To an unknown audience. Oh yeah, I would like to thank our subscribers. We have seen an unprecedented level of attention for the unprofessionality which we are doing our videos. It is really impressive. So that gives me a view that there might be some interest in the topics that I am touching, and that my opinions are not too far off. And obviously I haven't been hit with hate mails and death threats so far, so it seems that my opinion is more or less mainstream. Yeah, so we are almost there. You can see we are at 11.546 exabyte. That is exactly 1 exabyte more than on the video yesterday. So that is exactly 1 exabyte since the first video yesterday, and the first video yesterday was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and now we have 11 o'clock in the morning. So it is from 1 p.m. yesterday to 11 a.m. today that we have seen 1 exabyte of 1.1. that was steep. So that we have seen 1.1 exabyte rise in in network space, which goes to back to the 14%. By the time we have 24 hours, we have 14%. Good. It is not doing me the favor, but now we can have a look into the error log to see what actually is going on. So we start at this PC, see users, Chia, mainnet, and log file. And now you see our 2 kilobyte log file has expanded by a few thousand% to 196 kilobyte, 197, growing by the second. So there's a lot going on. That's what you have to keep in mind. Your log file directory will explode. So there's a lot of activity going on. To make it more interesting, we will go to the end, and what do we have here? That's just a wallet transaction. So that is the update of the wallet. Here we have our plot type. Oh, that is something a lot of you will only dream of. So here we have our I'm not so sure if there are any. So here we have 0 plots eligible for proof. Where do we have a proper one? I think there's none. It's setting up the list with hosts it can sync with, and a lot of them are dead already, or I mean, not dead in a physical sense, but they have already logged out, or they are busy, or whatever. So that's why the syncing takes so long, or they have disabled their UPnP. Let's see, are we synced now? But I guess you get the picture, so that, yep, we are synced now. So now everything is done. And now you can start dissecting your error log. I hope this was helpful. I hope this gives you some insight into what is going on in your machine, and that gives you something to think about. Yeah, 11.558. Good. That is a huge increase from yesterday, and that means we will be at 18 at the weekend. So we will see 100% growth within a week, probably. So it's not the 25% which are in the calculator. It's a lot more. Okay, so we have done that. Let's have a look at the coin price before we leave. Here's the coin price. Yeah, it's still in its sideways channel, not moving very much. Very low trading volume, so if you have to sell or you want to sell 10,000 coins, now is not the moment. You will probably not find a lot of people buying them. So hold on to your 10,000 coins. And anyway, that would only be $8 million. You can wait. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Please like and subscribe if you want to. And see you again next time.